Hi there, and welcome to another episode here on Bustthenet. Yes, these are the Ajax Diaries. We're in preseason. It's that time of the season where I am actually planning for the rest of the season, and more importantly, whenever I'm doing a youth development save, like I am with Ajax, where I focus on the youth, I'm going through my club and deciding who to play, who to look at. The whole goal is which are the players, and I alluded to these players towards the end of last season, and I've included some of them on today's show because I want to focus on them. So this season, I've already sold Orihuela. Orihuela is gone, so he's no longer in the team anymore because the goal was to develop the club, and so Orihuela has gone off for 6.25. We might be able to get it as much as 10. Most likely it'll come to 10 million because if he makes 4 more appearances, international appearances, they'll have to pay me 4 million for that. So he's gone to Germany. He was, in my opinion, half decent. I mean, he would have gotten better, but because I want to focus on my first team, I want to focus on the young players that are coming through. So we have players like this guy Liam Van Helderen. He's not as good as Orihuela, but I want to give him a chance this season. So my right backs. Some people might think I'm taking a big risk, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to handle this. Now, if I go to my team report and go to my squad depth and focus on this tactic, then if I look at my right back position, your Veltman can still play there, and these are the players that who are gonna be looking at playing this season. This the camp as well as Van Gelderen and we have made one signing. I wanted to avoid signing players, but I couldn't help it when he came on the transfer market. Lucas Martinez Quarta. My scouts found him, and we immediately went in, put in a bid of 8 million. He was attracting the attention of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City. They were all eyeing him, and I didn't hesitate. We went in, signed him up because he looks like a Finnish. I mean, he already looks like a Finnish article. He's only 23 years old. He's a member of the international team. He's got very good mentals, anticipation, positioning. His work rate is exceptional. Stamina is not bad. Decent pace and acceleration. Very good first touch 13 mark, and he's got good decision making. So we've gotten ourselves a player who can play in this position. I'm going to use him as a ball-winning midfielder. We've promoted Abdul Kader Tabat to the senior team as well, so he's going to get a run in. So preseason becomes a chance for me to try players out, and I am looking at using them and toying with them in preseason. And then when it comes to the training itself, I'm keeping my training fairly basic, balanced, average. The workload is already heavy. We're gonna just focus on getting them ready for the season coming ahead. They've got a few matches that they're going to be playing in preseason. We beat AEK Athens. This was a great game. I mean, one of our goals in this game, you've got to. It was something that I am working on with our team in terms of how we create goals. Watch what we do with the throw in from our own half. I think to the camps back to I think to Veltman. They keep passing the ball between each other, and they work the ball around to the other side of the pitch to Abakane, to Verhever, then to De Jong. They push forward Shearhouse, and then we break. We pull the whole team out of position. Amin Younes, who played really well while he was on loan, he's back with the senior team. Whether or not he gets a chance to play this season, I don't know. I'm focusing on developing these players. Verber is out for 4 to 6 weeks. David Neres is also injured. And when I go into preseason, it's about trying players out in these positions. So we give as many players a chance to play, and players that I know who are pretty solid, I kind of like I kind of rest them. I don't really give them a run out, so to speak. It's more a case of trying to find out how the rest of the players are fit. Players who I think are not going to be featuring for me in the season ahead. I don't think they will be playing so much. Klaas Jan Huntelaar, no. Frankie de Jong, it's a pity he isn't bad, but I'm going to have to try and develop him a bit more. I got too many Mazalas. 3 Mazalas in my team. I mean, maybe I should come up with a tactic which has got lots of Mazalas. So we try to stick with one formation as well. This season, I'm going to be sticking to just trying to play this one formation. Occasionally, when I see teams coming at me with a without fullbacks on attack, I might try something different. This is something that I do every season. I actually spend a lot of time looking at how we move the ball in preseason to see whether or not players can fit into my system. This is the new player, Martinez Quarta. He's going to be playing as a ball-winning midfielder. He can also play as a playmaker. He can also play as a... He can't play as a box-to-box midfielder, if I'm not mistaken. I think his off the ball is relatively low. So that limits the number of things I can get him to do. The moment I see a player with low off the ball ratings, then I know that I don't think I can put him on an attack duty, but he can definitely slot in from a defensive point of view. So that's the goal. Here we go. Martinez Cuatras off the ball is only 9. He might improve over time. It's not terribly low, but it's does limit. So whenever we attack, I know that he's off, because he's off the ball isn't that fantastic. We know that we can't expect too much from his flank, so it's perfectly okay, because most of our attacks generally come down the left flank. And I use preseason to try things out. Like if I find that we can't break a team down, that's when I go into plan B. Here it's only 5 minutes, so I don't know why I want to go into my plan B. But exploit the middle roam from positions. We're going to leave it alone. There's no... I mean, it's a bit early, but I will try and see whether we can generate. Like here, all I see is shots from range, which is a bit disappointing. What can we do? So what I can do is I can turn this guy into a winger on attack. And then we can try and stretch play down the right flank with him. So Kluivert will be bombing down the right flank. And we'll try and stretch this team. Ziyech, Talbot. Now, this game, certain things we need to try and understand, especially when it comes, to the engine. There's no rocket science to the engine. I mean, like, how it works is the game starts. If you don't do any changes till halftime, well, that's the script you get in the game. The highlights will all come. That's how they will pan out. So, in order for you to influence the game, and if you find that the game isn't going the direction that you want, or is not something that's ideal for your team, then you need to make changes. So, at the moment, we made one change, right? So the highlight script has been rewritten. So this is me now looking to see whether that change was enough. What else can we do? There is something else that I can do. Other options with this tactic would be to tell my attacking playmaker not to sit narrow. So I get more movement in the final third. So far, okay. So then option B. He's actually not sitting narrow. Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it alone. I thought I was sitting narrow. I would have done that, but apparently he's not. So we're not going to change things. Talbot. So these are my youngsters. They're being given a run out. So all I do is observe to see how they play, whether they make crazy mistakes, whether they're in the right positions. So if they do well, chances are they'll end up featuring for me for the better part of next season. Good cross. Casera makes a blinding start. Mateo Casera only ends up playing in preseason. That's the other sad part about this player. He was on loan as well last season. So he's not bad. He has to start playing a few games or else he's never going to be good. Kasper Dolberg, we had offers for him. And he also wanted to leave for Manchester City. But Manchester City didn't come in with a solid offer. So he's going to have to stay. And by solid offer, I mean £100 million offer. So, it's another goal from Casera. It's 2-0 Lokomotiv Moscow. Okay, so our changes definitely did something. And the boys are adding to the tally. Van der Beek to Ziyech. Ziyech down the line for Van der Beek. Van der Beek crossing. Kluivert makes it 3. That change telling me that this is an option for us with our tactic. Fernandes, Tabat tracking, but this block Ziyech, Verheever to Casera. Casera, now this is the winger on attack. He'll hold. Okay, good. Casera is doing what I expect him to do because he's a poacher, so he's not running. He's not running like a bullet train to the final third. Okay, that checks. Now, my plan is to start looking at other players who can play in the spots. Aberkane is a central defender. We're trying him out in preseason. So all these youngsters, they're getting a chance, but there's a logic in the way I play. I will eventually be playing these guys in the first team. So if I don't try them out in preseason, then I won't get a good idea. So in preseason, I make a decision on which 4 players from the under 23s or the under 19s, which of these 4 players is going to be promoted to the senior squad. So right now, players like Aberkane have a chance right now to stake their claim. So we got Dick Camps, defender on the right. All these players will have to stake a claim. And right now, Van Gelderen is a solid claim to the position on the right flank. But will he be able to play for us? Will he be as good as Louis Orihuela? I don't know. But eventually, I had to sell Louis Orihuela. It was always on the cards. We always knew we were going to let him go. And Simeon Pasa. Simeon Pasa will also be going. I put him on the transfer market as well. Oh, okay, that's terrible. So who are the 2 defenders here? Van Gelderen and Veltman. Combination not very good. Okay, so that tells me something. This Veltman out of position. Okay, so he was out of position, and Veltman, that's a bit disappointing. So that things like this. Okay, we're going to second half. We'll try this boy out. Carell, I think, will move into midfield. We'll try him instead of Abdul Kader Tabat. And then Dolberg will come on for Mateo Casera. Michel Dykes will come in for Verheever. Some of these players were injured for a long time. Siam De Jong will come in for Donny van der Beek. Okay, so it's a different bunch of players now. Kluivert goes down the right flank, crossing for the box. That's a winger stretching play. Happy to see that. Michel Dykes to Aiting to Ziyech. Ziyech to Martinez Quarta to Kluivert. Kluivert crossing it. Ziyech makes it 4. Ziyech is proving that he is ready to play. Schöner, his season is now. I'm keeping him in this club because he's a professional and I want him to be a tutor for players. I think to Max Martinez Quarta, I've got a lot of. This guy is going to be a superstar for us. The camps, I think, to Schöner, back to De Jong, back to Schöner. Schöner slides it to De Jong. De Jong slams it. Shunin cleared only as far as I think shoots is wild. Okay, so basically, this is it. Preseason is all about getting. I mean, I love preseason. I can take 7 hours to do a preseason because in preseason I am spending a lot of time looking at my players, trying them out in friendlies, and then tweaking their trainings so that I don't believe in giving players generic training schedules because I like to be. I'm very much a control freak when it comes to training. So I will be very specific about the kind of training that they are going to have, and that is very very important for me. So I will not hesitate if I think that a player needs a specific training schedule that I think is going to be good for him in the long run, and I do that all the time. So players like the wingbacks, I will put them on their own wingback training, and then I will focus on attributes that are weak, and then I will also do tutoring, and I've already set some of the youngsters on tutoring programs with senior players who are professional. So I look for professional, resolute. Dolberg inside the box. Dolberg hasn't been. I mean, I will definitely sell Dolberg if I can get an offer of at least 80 million for Dolberg. Yes, Dolberg might go. 80 million on the table. We'll talk about Dolberg going. So Ajax is all over Lokomotiv Moscow 5-1 now. And preseason is about playing with sides. I don't like playing. I know there's a argument for good morale, right? Playing with shitty clubs. But I like to play with decent clubs in preseason. It gives me a chance to see how my average players or my youngsters can do against clubs like that, because it's really important. And it gives me a good idea of how ready our team is. Because, winning 10-0 against lower newly promoted side into the conference is not going to tell me anything about my team, except that they can score against really bad opposition. What's the point of having great morale and then you lose the first game of the season? For me, what's more important is knowing what my players can do and whether they can fit into a system, and that preseason tells me that. So now, and I don't really I won't push my players unless these are players who I don't expect to see them play for the first team. Then they will stay for the whole 90 minutes. Like Albert Kane, he's going to get a chance, but he's not going to be a starter. We've got a very solid bunch of central defenders. So the only positions I'm trying to train people and I want to move people into are the 3 central midfield slots. Younes into the box, Dolberg almost getting on the end of that. So far, Dolberg hasn't scored a goal yet. Justin Kluivert has done well. Casera has done well. There we go. Keith Sterling inside the box rocks the upright. Lokomotiv Moscow almost bagging a second goal. And Onana makes another save. I like how this Ajax team is developing. So the goal is definitely to try and use as much as I can players from the youth setup. I mean, I do make exceptions to the rule once in a while, like Quatra. That's his name, I guess. His name is Luca Martinez Quarta. This player, I like his attributes. The spread is pretty good. So I'm going to use him. He's going to develop. For now, he's a ball-winning midfielder. If he can develop, he's probably going to be half-decent playmaker. So we'll see how he goes. I think to the camps, down the line, looking for Amin Younes, Ribas, under pressure, plays it back to Margos. But yes, that's it. The final whistle, Ajax 5 and Lokomotiv Moscow 1. That was a good preseason run out. I didn't expect a 5-1 win, but they got a 5-1 win. Wow. So we got a few more. We got Fenerbahce, we got Fondi, we got Feyenoord, and then we start our first game of the season against Excelsior. So far, so good. They're looking pretty solid. Team report. Our weaker area is the right side, which is understandable because that's where we have a wing back. Yeah, true. We don't have a lot of depth. Yeah, the right back position is a scary position because I'm going to be using youngsters in the right back position. I'm not sure whether this is the right thing to do. Here we go. These are my right backs. The camp. Positioning 11, acceleration 15. I would normally tell people don't use him. I've got this guy, Abdallah Abakane, not bad as well. But mental's not so strong. Bravery only 9. Composure, can't handle pressure. Yo Veltman, he's senior. He can step into this role. That's the reason why I'm willing to let Orihuela go. Then I've got Liam Van Gelderen. He's most likely going to start. So I've got this guy, is it youth, on a youth contract. So I'm gonna offer him a new contract, hot prospect, full-time contract, no appearance fee. And okay. There we go. The boy's gotten a contract. And these are the players that are going to be, they're all being tutored as well. Up front are attackers. These are the strikers. Justin Kluivert, wanted by Bayern Munich. Scherhaus, wanted by Chavez, will never go. Kasper Dolberg, he's still light-hearted idiot. I'm so pissed at him being light-hearted. But these are the strikers. No change in our team there. Midfielders, Donny van der Beek, still the maestro in midfield. Hakim Ziyech, our playmaker. Amin Younes will probably play a few games this season. I want to try something with him. CM De Jong, I'm going to have to try and use him as well, so that he doesn't lose out. Then we've two teams want him on loan. I want to sell him. I don't want him to go on loan. And it looks like we might be able to. We might be okay this season. I'm hoping that we can do a 3P. Like, can we win the Champions League for the third time in a row? That's the goal. So preseason, it's really simple the way I set it up. I know some people have asked me to do a show on preseason, how I approach preseason. So in terms of tactics, we're going to be using this a lot this season, and I like this tactic. Although there is a part of me that wants to turn this into a defensive centre back, but if I do, then it will change the way we play, which is a lot of short passing. We try and keep possession of the ball. If you remember the goal I showed you earlier, where we moved the ball around and we scored a beautiful goal in preseason, it's just an indication of where I want this club to end up. And in terms of reputation, we are now the club, the number one club in the world in terms of reputation. We've surpassed Real Madrid. We're the most reputable club in Europe. Financially, we're still okay. Transfer budget of 31 million. I'm not going to use this. In terms of the facilities, we're doing okay as well. Facilities, our data analysis for facilities have to be improved because they're quite crap. So a lot of the investment is now going into improving these. Everything else is top notch. And we're still paying rent for this stadium. I wonder why we don't own our own stadium. But I'm hoping that by the time our season starts, we will be okay. But it looks like this is how I do my preseason, guys. If you have any other questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make these kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care, have a good one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.